My name is Jake Rank. I'm a Director of Product Management with Appian. I'm going to be joined here today by Jorge Sanchez, Director of Product Strategy, who you guys all saw on stage this morning at the keynote, giving a great demo of some of the things we're going to be talking about here. And then we're going to have Suvajit Gupta, who is a Senior Vice President in charge of all of Appian engineering. He's going to come up at the end and kind of talk about some of the themes that we have here. We're here to give you guys a more in-depth preview of the Appian's Intelligent Contact Center platform, and to talk about how you can use it to create great customer engagement experience for your customers. Now, one of the things about customer engagement and customer experience overall is that we all have the benefit that you've probably all experienced it from the customer side, right? Everybody's called, everybody's had to get in touch with somebody. I recently had a situation where my son, he's going to go into kindergarten, so I had to call in to get some after-school care, and it's one of those deals where if you don't call right at 8 o'clock in the morning, you don't get a spot, and you have to go on the wait list. So I came to work that day early, I got everything ready, I got ready to call, I set up, I was going to bang out some emails while I was waiting on hold. So pick up the phone, I dial, press 1 for English, press 2 for after-school care, and I get a little message that says, like, sorry, nobody's available to help you, and then click, it just hangs up. So then I called back again, and again, and again, and eventually this is what I look like, exactly like this, in fact. I had to call back 77 times, and it took 45 minutes just to get onto hold. So that's not a great customer experience. That's not any of the experience that you guys want your customers to have. And certainly when you're on the phone, you're kind of thinking like, who am I talking to, right? Who's running the show? Who's behind the scenes here? And what are they doing that's going to drive this great customer experience that I'm having? That's not what we want. And so what we want to talk about today is what is going on in the customer engagement space. Where do we see the themes that are happening and what customers are looking for now? And then we'll get into a deep dive demo on exactly what we've built with Appian, one example of a contact center that you guys could build. And we'll talk about when you guys go to build your own contact center, what are the great features and capabilities that we've added to Appian recently that'll let you guys build that same kind of experience to empower your customer service representatives to be able to give your customers that wonderful experience. So customers today, they want a personalized experience. When they call in, they want to have a very seamless experience. They want to be able to talk to one person. They want to talk with one call or one interaction, or maybe even 0 interactions, but they want that experience to be one and done. They want to get in and out. If you can imagine the experience that they're expecting, like you go to a great hotel and you go to the concierge desk, and the person at you ring the bell, and somebody just says, with a smile, puts out their hand and says, yes, of course, I will take care of that for you, let me help you. That's the kind of experience that our customers want now. And of course, they want that across all these different channels, right? It's not just, hey, they may not be calling, they may be texting you, they may be on your portal, and they're actually chatting with your agent from their portal, and they're looking at something on the screen, and they want you to help them with that, or they are emailing you. I've even been to contact centers where their method of contact is regular mail, right? Like thousands of pieces of mail being opened every day, and that's the way that they engage with their customers. Now, that may not be you, that may be you, but every customer is unique. Every customer has their own method, their own devices, their own preferences, their own applications. How they choose to connect with you is becoming more and more important as a differentiator for how their experience works and how well they're satisfied by the way that you're able to talk to them. So we want to be able to do all of that. We want to have that great personalized and seamless customer experience, and we want to be able to do it across all these different channels. And so when you think about that agent's experience, what are they doing these days? Well, like they're looking at something like this probably, right? It's multiple screens, it's multiple windows on the screens. They're frantically like on the hamster wheel in the background as you're talking on the phone. They're like going over here and trying to update the system and make sure that it's in this system and like copy and paste this over here, write that down on a sticky note, and then like transfer it there, remind me later that I got to follow up on that other thing. It's a crazy experience. And it makes it really hard for them to deliver a good experience for your customers and a consistently good experience for your customers, right? They are doing it differently every time. There's not a lot of process around it. It's very ad hoc. So I've actually been and seen the sticky notes. It's kind of scary. And if you look behind the scenes, right, that's part of the problem here, right? You've got a bunch of you've got your business operations, all of which might need to be touched in the context of one customer interaction. And of course, that's powered by multiple backend systems across different servers and different acquisitions over the years, and like customer data's here and there everywhere. So it's a bit of a mess. The good news here is that, of course, Appian already does a lot of the solution here. We already have a great way to solve a lot of this problem, both from general case management and integration. And so that's something that we're actually going to leverage, and that's a big part of the story here. It's that Appian is already a great solution for a lot of the things that you need for this kind of line of business. You know, we are already a world-class low-code cloud platform. We're a market leader in dynamic case management. And recently we've added more capabilities for intelligent automation. So the ability to use AI to provide recommendations or to integrate with third-party services, out-of-the-box things, give agents or anyone else using Appian a recommendation or a pointer on where to go next, that guidance, that sense that gives you a process flow out of what is otherwise that really ad hoc experience. And we've also added the RPA aspect of it. So using robotic process automation, which if you were in the room previously for the session, you guys heard everything about what we're doing with Blue Prism there, but the ability to take away the agent's responsibility for the annoying repetitive tasks, right? Don't make them go to 16 different systems just to paste that address update across all of them, right? We can have a robot handle that for them with one click in Appian. And that's the kind of thing we've done with intelligent automation recently. So that's one of the reasons that Appian is already great in contact centers today. And Matt mentioned this morning. I think Malcolm also touched on it. You know, we have customers who are using Appian already with our case management capabilities, the power of being able to bring together your data wherever it lives and bring that data into a single interface and attach actions to that interface so that you can do everything you need from at one place. See what you need and take action what you need, whether it's action that's powered by integration or action that's powered by RPA or action that just stays all within Appian. Whatever it happens to be, you can do it from that screen. And you know that with the fact that we're a market leader in dynamic case management and that we have great integration and continued investment there, like you can build the solution for case management that you need, and then we want to go further and now bring that in with omni-channel communications, right? So that's kind of the piece that we're bringing in now with this release, the ability to take all of that great dynamic case management and have it be part of the same conversation. So whether somebody is doing voice or chat, make that pop up when somebody calls in, right? You saw a little bit of the demo this morning. We'll show you some more. Make sure that you recognize that phone number, walk them through a verification flow, have that record. What recent support cases did they open, or what products have they recently purchased? What's going on with this customer? Let me see the picture, but have that all tied back in with the communication, right? So what we're really saying here is, like, obviously we're taking the things that Appian is already really good at. We're taking the cloud flexibility advantages, we're taking the case management capabilities, we're taking intelligent automation, and we're adding on this additional customer engagement piece to really bring this entire platform together and to provide what we think is going to be a really compelling platform for building your customer engagement services. And by doing that, we ultimately enable your agents, instead of the sad agents at the beginning. Right now you have superpowers, and you have the rock star agents who have all the capabilities they need to provide the customer experience that your customers want, and that leads to better customer outcomes. So now I'm going to invite Jorge up to actually show you guys some more of it in action. Take it away.
All right. Thank you, Jacob. All right. How many people here were in the morning keynote? All right. So we're going to see something similar to what you saw this morning. I'm just going to spend a little more time talking about the thought process that went behind the design of this application. And just like this morning, I'm still very excited to be showing the capabilities of what 18.2 plus our Omni-Channel features are going to empower you to build. This application was built from scratch using only those capabilities, and everything you see there can be built by you, and of course it's still Appian. It's still fully configurable. In order to create this application, we actually integrated with a CRM system. We integrated with our case management framework to provide all the order management, all of that stuff, and we just connected everything into a cohesive experience for our agents. So let me break it down again one more time as we go into the application. So when I log in, I'm greeted by the agent desktop. This is the application or the landing page where I can see, again, front and center, the knowledge center information. Right here in this week's focus, we're doing upselling and cross-selling. If I were to click here, this is going to take me to an embedded training solution that is going to show, for example, hey, why upselling and cross-selling are key to the customer satisfaction, right? You can embed videos, you can embed anything you want and configure it in a way that makes sense for you. Here to the right, we have a little bit of gamification where I can see, hey, given this week's focus, let's see how I stack up to the rest of the competition or to the rest of my team members in this specific engagement. Now, this can be anything you want it to be. It can be training, it can be enablement for something else, it can be sourced from related cases or the most common cases of the week, anything you want. It's driven by knowledge center and case management, of course. To the top, we have my performance. So these are not the metrics that the supervisors are going to care about or that someone else cares about. These are the metrics that I, as the agent, care about. So, for example, if this week's focus is upselling and cross-selling, it makes sense that right there I see upselling and cross-selling. And I see, for example, what is my current rating, and how does that compare to that of the target of the whole organization or that my team has for me. Then I can see things like average call resolution time, customer satisfaction, supervisor intervention, etc. And then here to the left, like I mentioned before in the keynote, is the tasks, right? Follow-up tasks that I might have created during an interaction, or right here if I click here on new tasks. And then I can make myself available for different things. So this is, again, the Omni-Channel component that we're making available starting with 18.2 when you request it. You can make yourself available for calls, SMS, chats. You have complete control over which of these channels you're going to enable for the agent that is currently logged in. For example, even though we have a chat option, this current agent is not seeing it because he is not enabled for that. If I did not want him to be able to take SMS or only do SMS interactions, I could do that as well. Another cool thing about this component is that it's fully baked and integrated. It's automatically aware of the interaction that is in. So right now there's no current call or no current chat. It's just showing me my availability. When a call comes in, it's going to change to call controls. Chat comes in or SMS is going to change automatically. And it's also able to take in all of the different events that are coming, like a call came in, a new message in the chat came in, and you can use that to interact and drive what's happening in the rest of the view. So let's start with a couple of examples here. So as in the morning, I'm going to be playing the role of Jorge, a friendly customer service agent for an office supply company called Vonis's. And now I'm going to call to Jake to play the role of Mrs. Jane Taylor. And again, I recreated the contact, so you're going to have to be Mrs. Jane Taylor. So I'm going to make myself available for calls. And Jake, would you mind doing the honors?
Absolutely.
So we have a live call right here. As soon as it connects, it's going to drive the interaction. Now, in this example, we are using a fully concierge-style application where you call and a human picks up the phone. It doesn't mean that we cannot support an IVR, right? But a lot of our customers are moving more towards the customer experience of, I want a concierge service. I want to call and I want a human to pick it up. In this situation, we decided to put a prompter here to guide the concierge agent on what to say. But that doesn't mean that we cannot have this same prompter feed the IVR. At the end of the day, this is all coming from Appian's configuration. So just like this same text can drive a chatbot, it can drive an IVR, or it can be presented to the agent as a prompter so he knows what to say next. So in this case, I can say, hello, and thank you for contacting us. My name is Jorge. Am I speaking with Mrs. Jane Taylor?
Absolutely.
Excellent, thank you. In order to provide, to maintain the security, can you please give me your date of birth and office phone?
Sorry, my birth date is March 8th, 1973. And my office phone is 703-606-9695.
Thank you very much. And you can see again, these are the two fields that this specific interaction is configured to use. But because I'm connected to the CRM system, I can choose any 2 fields, 3 fields, up to 4 fields that I want to secure this or to validate who the person that is calling. Now the system already thinks it's Jane Taylor, but I've already confirmed and verified that that's the person. I even know the organization, etc. You can see when I click continue here that the activity log is automatically updating everything that is happening. So I know that the call was answered at this time. I know that the identity was verified at this time. I can add a note anytime I want. And then when I get to the next step of my interaction, I can say, hey, thank you for giving me that information. Do you happen to be calling about the order you placed earlier today?
Yeah, thanks, Jorge. That is what I'm calling about.
Perfect. So again, AI. Right? You saw something like this morning, but it's very important to understand what AI can do and how you can best implement it. AI by itself is not enough. The fact that you know that the sentiment is positive or negative is not enough. The fact that you know that they may be calling about something is not enough. It's only when you put it together in the whole cohesive experience, right? This is a recommendation to this person in this context that is going to ultimately improve the customer experience. Right? That's the type of situation that I want you to think about. We're not at the point in AI where it can do anything. It cannot imagine things, but it's really good at predicting stuff today. And with that, you can still drive a lot of value. Anyway, I'm going to go back into my interaction here. And I say, OK, perfect. How can I help you today with this order, Ms. Taylor?
Well, I realized I need it sooner, so I was open to change the shipping.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help you with updating the shipping. I have 2 options available. Expedited 2-day shipping for $9.99 or overnight 1-day shipping for $19.99.
Sorry, when would the overnight get here?
Overnight would get here on Thursday. Expedited would get there on Friday.
Let's go with Thursday.
All right. I confirm the change. And again, you get another interaction from AI where I offer you that recommendation that I was talking about earlier. Whether I'm predicting the triage of what you're calling or making a recommendation, this is a great example, right? I'm predicting what the next interaction might be, and this is going to enable me to offer, to make an offer to this person. Now, this can be used also to prevent churning, right? So have you ever called your telephony service, say, hey, I'm thinking about canceling, and suddenly all these offers come in? And you're like, whoa, I should have called earlier, right? So that's the type of service that this can empower. Not only this, but other types of situations, right? Where should you put your food truck next in order to maximize the sales? Where should you go next? Where should your event be? Like all of these situations can be used and powered by this type of services. So again, Mrs. Taylor, I want to let you know that we're offering color cartridge. Would you be interested in purchasing that? We'll give you a 20% discount on top of that.
Well, I was planning on doing that next week, but I guess if you're going to give me a discount, I'll take it today. Thanks.
All right, I'll add that right there. I've updated your order. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to end the call, and here's where we get into the wrap-up phase. So the call has been disconnected, and here you can review, or you can take a few moments to review the activity log, make sure that you don't miss anything, and you can add some notes. You can also see that the system automatically tags the interaction, but the agent here can say, or can add additional fields here, like for example, oh, he added some feedback. I see that the tag doesn't exist, so I'm going to just create it right here. Right, and you can add it. You can also add the follow-up tasks, so on and so forth, and you can configure this in any way you want. Now I'm going to wrap up the call, and now I want to show you live the SMS interaction. So SMS is just another way that is very popular that people interact with. It can also be done with a chat client. So if you have a chat client on your website, it would be a very similar experience. And again, given that we're doing a concierge-style agent, this is going to be a chatbot-assisted interaction. So Jake, if you want to do the honors, just send any text you want, and to the same number.
I am upset about my order.
All right, so as soon as the text is sent, it's going to be received here, and you're going to see the change. And you're going to see the same component behave in a completely different way. All right, just a few seconds. All right, the text came in. I am upset about my order, and I need to change it. So here you'll notice that the prompter changed from something I'm just supposed to read to something I can interact with. This is actually being driven by Google's Dialogflow chatbot service. So it's got a complete natural language processing. It's got an intent framework to identify what is it that was written and how can I map it to an intent. And then you can take that intent, like for example, I want to update the order, and map it to, or call Appian to say, hey, what should I say given this intent? Appian would say, okay, this is this person, this is what you should say, this is what the intent was, just spit this back out, right? And that's kind of how this works in this situation. When I click here, I can also preview what is about to be said and simply modify it. So this is where a concierge-style situation comes into place. I may not just want to straight take up the suggestion. I see the system is warning me that this is slightly negative. I read that this is about an order, so I can say, I'll be happy to help you with your order. Then send. The text is immediately sent back to Mrs. Taylor. She can reply back, am I speaking with Mrs. Taylor?
Yes, it is.
And again, one other cool thing is that as the text comes in, look, no hands, I didn't click anything. We're going to take the context not only to drive what the chatbot says, but also to change the interaction. In this case, the chatbot can automatically move the process forward. So I can again take this message, click, and say, for example, can I get the last four of your social security number? They get the information, we validate, and then the rest is the same as you saw, right? So it's a very important or very powerful way to make sure that your agents spend more time helping customers and less time just typing. So the more that this doesn't deviate from, for example, what you think the interaction is going to be, the more you can feel confident that the chatbot is ready to kind of go on its own. All right, so let's finish the SMS interaction in the interest of time, and I can switch over to other things that I'm interested in showing you. So you might have seen the prompter, right? And I talked about how you can configure it. In the previous call, I was asking for date of birth and numbers. Now I'm asking for social security, and all of this is possible thanks to a tool we created called the interaction scripts. So first, everybody, thank you, Jacob. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So the idea behind the interaction scripts is to allow the manager, supervisors, or whoever is dealing with the customer experience to create how you want these, or to define how you want these interactions to go, at least in the first stages, right? You might want to be more or less formal, and you have complete control over this. So for example, this is what the incoming SMS script looks like. This is what I'm going to say when I get the first message. If I find the account, so if I had called from a number that I know, this is what I'm going to say, right? And of course, Mr. Kevin White is a dynamic field that you would change based on who's calling. But if I don't find the account, maybe they called from their unregistered office phone or from a pay phone or from wherever, from a friend's house, then I'm going to say this. Then I'm going to talk about validation and all of those. So let's quickly create one script so you guys can see how that might be. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to create a new VIP SMS experience. I'm going to click next. The welcome message, here is where I can say, out of all the fields that I have available with my contacts that are relevant for this interaction, which ones do I want to cross-reference? So if they call, do I just want to cross-reference mobile phones, office phones, home, other, email? And then I can start entering the messages. So I'm just, for the interest of time, just going to insert the default message here. And you can see that this is completely configurable. So I can say, instead of us, I might be able to say, for example, thank you for contacting Appian. This is immediately going to be updated here. Then I click next, and I go into the validation step. So here's where I say, how do I want to validate this person? And you might say, you know, I just want the last four of the social, and date of birth, and home phone. But they only need to give me 2 out of the 3 in order to move forward. Right? So as soon as they give me 2, I don't even ask the third one. If they miss the first one but answer correctly the second 2, then I move forward. If they miss 2, then call again or find the information. This is automatically configured in the script designer this way. Then the triage options, you have the ability to define how many or which triage options are available depending on your use case. In the case of Vonisys, you can see the triage options are right here. And you can have the insert default message here as well. I get the confirmation. I save the script. This is going to be saved into the database in a manner that is very easily usable in the next interaction. And just like I mentioned in the keynote for those who were there, we have a single-click experience to update and also export to a chatbot. So this is a really powerful thing because even though some of you might have already created a chatbot, you know that it's a complicated process. You have to create utterances. You have to say mappings between what you say and what it might be talking about, and then what I'm going to do once I figure out the intent and all of that. Here we're taking care of all of that for you for that initial phase. So it's a really powerful experience and very, very easy. Now, the last thing I want to talk about and highlight is the manager's desktop. So this is another part or another aspect of contact centers, and I'm sure many of us have had the experience where we need to call a supervisor or speak with the manager, but when they're not talking to angry customers, they are looking at this information. And this is the type of information that they need to look at to make sure that the agents have the right tools or are not having trouble handling the call. So here's where I can see the information about all the queues, and just like Matt was saying at the beginning, we're using sentiment analysis to automatically drive what might go to the top. If a customer in a customer engagement experience is upset, we want to know about it, and we want to do something about it. So that's going to go way to the top so you can figure out which chat sessions or calls you want to join. And also you can take a deeper dive and focus on a specific queue, like the support queue or the orders queue. And that's where you're going to see the specific interactions. And you might want to monitor what's happening with a specific agent, right? And then when you talk to them or when you decide which training to enable or which training to offer or suggest, you can use this information to guide that decision. You can also see that each agent has a specific score based on the metrics that you care about for the queue that they are in. The queue will then have an average score itself, which is going to tell you how this queue is doing in the morning, afternoon, evening shift, etc. And that is driven by what we see here in the queue priority weighting. So these are the metrics that you consider most important for each of these queues. And you can adjust the weight at any time. You can say, hey, you know what, for orders, I actually care a lot more about high cross-sell averages. Sentiment is important, but not as important as selling more stuff. Shorter hold time, you know, I don't care if they wait a little longer, and I don't care if the call is, you know, it takes long. If they're selling, that's good. And this can drive the interaction, right? So the next time I choose to rebalance the queue based on this metrics, is going to take that into consideration to optimize for that experience. Now, that's all I wanted to show for now. So I want to welcome Suvajit to the stage, and he's going to spend a little time talking about how we can build these types of applications.
Thanks, Jorge.
Thanks, guys.
All right. For the final segment, I want to talk about building your own contact center. So show of hands, you saw all this exciting stuff. How many of you are planning to build a contact center with some of this? Okay, a few hands. How many of you are planning to build more apps with Appian? Hopefully everybody, right? You're at the right conference. So whoever you are, whether you're building a contact center on Appian or building apps, I'm going to go through 3 major improvements we made to Appian. They're platform capabilities, so all of you can enjoy them and put them to work. But specifically for a call center, contact center, the first big idea is what we call single-page applications. The idea is that you can build UIs like this. This doesn't even look like Appian UIs from a few years ago, right? It's information dense. There's a lot of stuff packed right in there. It minimizes your clicking, your scrolling, your panning, the drilling, all of those things that slow you down. You have these really high productivity interfaces. And in fact, sometimes when you have to switch between one UI and another, you don't even have to do that. With our web content, you can bring those experiences right into Appian seamlessly with an Appian sale. So that's idea number 1. You can build incredible, powerful, beautiful UIs with Appian. Number 2, we call this real-time engagement. So for the last 15 years, Appian has been very good at building records. You'd navigate to a record, you'd click on it, look at the record view, take actions on it. But now you can do real-time engagement. You can call a customer, you can take a text message, you can chat with somebody. This kind of real-time communications really opens up an entire portal of possibilities. And in fact, as 18.2 ships soon, we're going to have 3 of our partners, Twilio, Genesys, and Temesis, that are already providing these capabilities that you can enjoy out of the box. And there'll be more. Appian is about openness, so we have a whole framework for people to build more of these kinds of connectors to different kinds of call centers and technologies. And of course, AI. We are living in the decade of artificial intelligence. There are many, many ways in which you've seen since this morning how we're employing AI throughout these experiences. Right? Through RPA, you have a digital workforce. You have chatbots. We call all of that the digital workforce. You're seamlessly weaving them in to the Appian portfolio. You can use AI, train your machine learning models, and do what we call triaging. Right? As a support case comes in, you can understand what's in there and then route it to the right person or the right team. In real time, you can look at the sentiment of the customer that you're interacting with or the emails that they're sending to you and make sure that you take care of them based on how they're feeling about the product or services that you're selling. And last but not least, you can have these really intelligent recommendations, the next best action type of things that you can build with Appian and with the AI capabilities that we're providing. So these are 3 big buckets of functionality that are shipping in 18.2 that will allow you to build incredible contact centers as well as incredible apps. So I hope that all of these are available for everyone to use and make sure that you can upgrade to 18.2 and start using these capabilities. So over the last day and a half, I had a lot of customer lunches and dinners, and a few of them asked me, is this ready for prime time? You guys build a lot of stuff quickly. How do you know if it's going to work? Well, at Appian, we do something called eating your own dog food. Some people call it drinking your own champagne. So I guess a dog could be drinking champagne. I don't know. But we use our technology before we give it to our paying customers. And let me show you that today, if you're being serviced by the Appian support team, you're being supported by the Intelligent Contact Center. Our support team is using this today. It's in production. And this is one more example. You saw an example that Jorge did of another very customized experience that we built. We do less with phone calls. A lot of it is done through emails and support cases. But to build a UI like this, we use the full power of the modern UI. We're using multiple columns. We're allowing you to set the widths of those columns. We allow you to pack in a lot of content with side-by-side layouts so that you can build those rich experiences. We have all manner of rich text icons now that you can embed within your UIs to make them really pop, right? And to give your agents the things that they need to see what's going on quickly at a glance. Of course, lots of AI down to individual comments within cases. Some of them might be you if you look closely. But we can see, are you okay? Are you happy? Are you getting frustrated? We built those UIs. We deployed them. We're using them today. So we know that it works. Even outside of those UIs, we've used a lot of these capabilities. We've built an entire auto-assigning capability. We've trained machine learning models so that we can route it to the right team within our support group. To unify the experiences, instead of having our support agents work in Gmail for the emails that you send them and work in Appian, they don't even have to switch. We've integrated all of that into a seamless experience so that they can service you more quickly. And in fact, the management within support, they can watch these things at a higher level. They can use the AI-based sentiment analysis not only at the individual comments level, but for the entire case. And then they know when they can jump in to assist and give you a better experience. So this is all live in production, and it works. While the three of us are here today to present all of this, it did take a lot of people and their efforts to build the stuff you saw today. So the next two slides show all of our colleagues who are, some of them are here, and they've worked really hard for the last 2 quarters to build all these capabilities. So I just wanted to thank them all. So what next? As you leave this presentation, I hope some of you will go take a closer look. We have a booth where you can actually sit down, take a look at it, really ask more detailed questions. There are several sessions tomorrow. There's an innovation showcase at 1:30 and a developer jam running side by side, where we talk about many of these in more detail, talking about applying AI, talking about building transformative solutions for customer engagement. So go hear more if you're interested.